Hi, this is Cheryl with a movement study that this comes out of work that looks at the context of the golf swing and sort of the sequence and coordination that happens in turning through the hips, turning through the diaphragm, the ribs towards a golf swing, and opening up the kind of freedom of movement in both your the rotation in your upper torso, but also in your lower back and pelvis, that keeps you connected into your legs as you do the support movement to make that kind of swing with a golf club. And so I'm just going to show a few variations to kind of explore for yourself. There's a lot packed into a golf swing, and so this is looking at options about sequence of movement and to explore for yourself how you're putting these together that might make it easier to do that rotation with your shoulders, might take off some of the burden right on the rotator cuff muscles when you're trying to make up for what doesn't turn right in your torso and body. So here's the variations that are helpful to explore. So working with three options. So the first is simply allowing, you could talk about this as a clamshell, right? So having your legs together and having them come apart. If we work with this in a one-sided way, having that movement happen just your leg in your hip joint. So you're not letting your pelvis roll, and you can explore what that range of motion is possible for you on both sides. I think it's helpful to work one-sided so you can really notice the differences from one side to the other. You might find a point that you start to roll your pelvis sooner, say on your right side than on your left side. So variation one, moving your leg in the hip joint. Now looking at this next one of moving your leg and letting your pelvis roll too. So again, you could be really, focused on the sequence. Maybe I start to move my leg, and then at a certain point, I start to roll my pelvis in order to make that happen. Or I could move my pelvis and then let my leg open up. So again, you explore for yourself what facilitates a smoother, easier, and more generous range of motion. The third option, of course, is to add spinal rotation to that. So sequence, bring your leg down, start to move your pelvis, and then bring that kind of arching and rolling movement of your spine becomes a more fulsome sequence, leg, pelvis, arching, rotating spine, that lets you increase the movement, but also kind of decrease the work at any one point. And so if I show it to the other side, it could be about moving your leg, starting to move your pelvis, and then arching and rolling your back. And so it's helpful to take these options apart and play with them. So I might want to this time start moving my spine, rolling my pelvis, then opening my leg out. Not because one way is better than the other. You want to know what you're doing with each of these options so that you can bring them into the refinement of your golf swing. And I want to put this in the context of there can be a nice kind of warm-up activity that has you clamshelling your upper body as well. So this idea of coming on your side, one arm on top of the other, and opening it up. And so you can apply this principle here as well to look at, I'm opening my arm in my shoulder socket, I'm starting to move my shoulder girdle, and then I'm rotating my spine to get the biggest range of motion. So if you enjoy that, it's great to then also include this kind of way of rolling with your legs, so that you're moving your leg, rolling your pelvis, rolling across your spine, so that you can open up literally, and then close up through this rotation as a nice way to set up your body to have this maximum kind of freedom of movement when you're setting up to do your golf swing. So a nice little preliminary for that movement. Thanks for tuning in. Always open to questions, comments, sharing your experiences. Hope to hear from you. Take good care.